Prince Harry is heading back to Toronto, Canada. And not because he's following some royal calendar or trying to outshine anyone. He's been invited, yes, invited to take part in events tied to Remembrance Day, meeting with veterans, military families and organisations that focus on service and recovery. According to reports, he'll be working alongside groups like the True Patriot Love Foundation and the Halo Trust, both deeply involved in veteran support and humanitarian efforts. It's the kind of work Harry has always stood for: meaningful, grounded and impact-driven, not the staged ribbon-cutting kinds. And the location makes it even more special. Toronto isn't just another stop on his calendar. It's a place filled with history and significance for him. Remember, this is where the 2017 Invictus Games were held, the very event where Harry and Meghan made their first public appearance as a couple. The city was alive with energy then, not just because of the romance, but because of what the Invictus Games stood for: resilience, hope, and celebrating the strength of wounded veterans. Toronto embraced Harry back then, seeing his authenticity up close, his compassion, humour, and the genuine way he connected with people. Now, years later, he's being invited back. That's not a coincidence. That's recognition. It means his work resonated deeply, and they want that energy back. Canada doesn't hand out invitations for photo ops. They do it because they see real results. So Harry's return to Toronto isn't about royal optics. It's about purpose. It's about continuing the same mission he's been dedicated to for years: supporting veterans, championing mental health, and proving that service doesn't stop when you step away from the institution. But of course, cue the British media meltdown. Because the moment Harry announced his trip, Fleet Street went into full-blown chaos mode. Not because he did something wrong, but because he did something right without their permission. Suddenly, headlines were flying everywhere like pigeons at Buckingham Palace. The Mirror screamed, "Prince Harry makes huge announcement on awkward diary, clash with arranged William." News International ran with, "Prince Harry steals Prince William's spotlight with major trip announcement." And the Daily Express. They had the nerve to write, "Prince Harry announces trip to Toronto the moment Prince William arrives in Brazil." Honestly, it's comedy gold at this point. Because, let's be real, Harry didn't plan a press conference to compete with his brother. He didn't call up journalists and say, "Hey, make sure my trip outshines William's." He's going to Canada to honour veterans and do the kind of work that matters. But to the UK press, that's apparently a declaration of war on William's calendar. They're acting like Harry's sitting in Montecito with a giant world map, drawing lines and saying, "Oh, William's flying to Rio? Perfect, I'll announce my trip now." No. The reality is much simpler. Harry was invited. He accepted. And he's showing up because his work has impact. It's the media that keeps manufacturing this imaginary scoreboard. They can't stand the fact that Harry, the man they labelled as irrelevant, continues to be invited, respected and visible, all without palace backing. Every time he does something genuine, it exposes how shallow and performative most royal engagements have become. When Harry gets invited by a whole country like Canada, it reminds everyone that his influence stands on its own. The press spent years predicting he'd fade away after leaving the royal family. Instead, he's being welcomed globally for causes that truly matter. And that drives them absolutely mad. Because if Harry can succeed outside the royal bubble, it proves what they don't want to admit: the institution doesn't create significance. Character and integrity do, and Harry's got both. That's why they have to keep twisting his every move into competition with William. It's the only narrative that keeps their fragile system afloat. Now, while Harry's preparing to meet veterans and attend remembrance events, William is in Rio de Janeiro for his so-called environmental mission. And let's be honest, it looks like a PR tour wrapped in eco-friendly buzzwords. He's talking about saving the planet while reportedly flying there by private jet. You couldn't script that irony better if you tried. Nothing says climate action like a luxury flight to Brazil for photos and speeches about sustainability. Meanwhile, Harry's actually doing the work. No fuss, no fake smiles, no performative greenwashing. And that's why Canada's invitation to Harry hits differently. It's rooted in respect. They're not chasing headlines, they're recognizing consistency. They saw him lead the Invictus Games. They've seen his commitment to veterans and mental health. He's built relationships that last beyond photo ops. That's credibility. That's influence. And here's the best part, William's one-sided competition with Harry. Let's be honest, Harry has never competed with William. Not once. He's never been chasing titles or trying to outshine his brother. But William has been stuck in this imaginary rivalry for years, desperately trying to keep up with the Sussexes. It's a one-sided game that exists only in his head and in the tabloids that depend on it. Every time Harry does something impactful, William's team scrambles to launch a counter-story. When Harry's Invictus Games in Germany became a massive success, William suddenly remembered mental health existed and did a flurry of events. When Meghan and Harry's Netflix projects went viral, William popped up with a campaign about online safety. When Harry's Travelist initiative started making waves, William miraculously rediscovered his passion for environmental work, complete with perfectly staged PR photos. It's like clockwork. Meanwhile, Harry doesn't even mention William. He's out there minding his business, raising his family, and doing real work that gets results. William's just reacting always one step behind, always trying to match Harry's authenticity with manufactured optics. The funniest part? The British media are the ones fueling this nonsense, pretending there's some grand royal race for relevance. But the truth is simple, Harry isn't even playing that game anymore. He's not competing for attention. He already has it because people can see he's genuine. You can't outshine authenticity. You can't fake integrity. And you definitely can't PR your way into the kind of trust Harry has earned with people and organizations across the world. The double standard is ridiculous. When William travels, it's royal duty. When Harry travels, it's attention-seeking. When William speaks about the planet, it's visionary. When Harry speaks about service, it's controversial. It's like the UK media live in an alternate universe, where the same actions mean two completely different things depending on who's doing them. But what's really happening is fear, the fear of losing control over the royal narrative. The establishment built a system where William and Kate were the golden couple, and Harry and Meghan were supposed to fade away as the villains. Except that plan completely backfired because Harry and Meghan are thriving. They're respected. They're working on meaningful projects. They're doing it without the crutch of royal privilege. Instead of admitting that, the tabloids spin every Harry success into a competition. Because it's easier to say Harry's stealing William's spotlight than to face the truth that William's spotlight has dimmed on its own. The world's interest has shifted. People are drawn to realness, not rehearsed perfection. And that's why Harry's return to Toronto matters. It's not nostalgia, it's growth. It's a reminder of how far he's come since that first Invictus appearance with Meghan. He's no longer a working royal under orders, he's a man living by purpose and conviction. Toronto is more than just a location. It's symbolic. It represents where Harry's path of independence truly began. Back then, he was a prince finding his voice. Now, he's a global advocate using it. And you know what? That's powerful. Because even without the crown, he's carrying forward the true essence of service, doing good without needing to be seen doing it. It's easy to put on medals and deliver speeches about duty. It's much harder to live it daily, away from cameras, in rooms filled with people who genuinely need your help. That's what Harry's been doing, quietly and consistently. And while the media keep obsessing over who announced what trip first, veterans in Canada are preparing to meet a man who actually understands their struggles, who's walked beside them, not above them. That's why this visit hits differently. Because it's real, it's human. It's not another royal box-checking exercise. It's Harry continuing the mission he started years ago to remind the world that empathy and leadership can coexist. And that's the irony. The more the tabloids try to paint him as irrelevant, the more they reveal how relevant he truly is. They can't stop talking about him because, deep down, they know the world still cares. If they truly believed Harry didn't matter, they'd ignore him. But instead, every trip, every event, every handshake becomes a front-page drama. Because silence would mean acceptance that he succeeded without them. And that's the one thing they can't stand. Harry's independence proves their power is fading. He's proof that the royal press machine isn't the gatekeeper of influence anymore. The people are. That's why Canada's welcome speaks volumes. It's not about the titles he once had, it's about the respect he's earned. The veterans inviting him back don't care about palace politics. They care about integrity. And integrity is something Harry has never lost, no matter how many hit pieces were written about him. He's turned criticism into fuel, exile into opportunity, and distance into dignity. Meanwhile, the tabloids cling to the same tired script: jealousy, rivalry, drama. But Harry keeps rewriting it with action, purpose and empathy. Toronto isn't just a return, it's a full-circle moment. A reminder that the values Harry stood for then still guide him now. Resilience, hope, service. And this visit will remind the world of what the Invictus spirit stands for: strength in recovery, dignity in struggle, and pride in perseverance. These are not buzzwords, they're lived experiences for the veterans Harry continues to champion. So, while the media fights over optics, Harry's focused on outcomes. He's showing that purpose doesn't need press permission. And the more they try to diminish him, the more the world sees through the act. Because Harry's story isn't about rebellion, it's about evolution. It's about choosing authenticity over approval. And in doing so, he's shown millions that you can redefine your path without losing your purpose. Yes, Prince Harry is heading to Toronto, invited, welcomed and respected. He's returning to a city that helped shape his journey, continuing work that truly matters. Meanwhile, the UK media are having collective meltdowns over imaginary diary clashes and spotlight theft. It's laughable because the truth is this: Harry's not competing. He never was. He's living his life, doing his work and making a difference. If William feels overshadowed, maybe it's because Harry's light isn't fake, it's earned. And that's something no amount of PR spin can replicate. This Toronto trip is more than just another headline. It's proof that Harry doesn't need the royal machine to be relevant. His work speaks for itself, and the world, especially Canada, is still listening. That's the real power. That's the kind of influence you can't buy, can't fake, and can't take away.